Good morning, everybody. So, wow, yesterday should have been eye-opening, and I probably left you feeling jacked up, broken. No wonder I keep screwing up my life. I'm trying to think what other thoughts I had after I came to my 3 conclusions, because I right away was like, oh my gosh. I started sharing them with my family because I just, it really explained a lot to me about myself and my past actions and why I get in this cycle of self-sabotage. So if you're feeling broken, if you're feeling confused, it's okay, because remember, we're not chairs and we don't need repairs. And I am keeping telling myself that. We are going to put this all together today in the framework that is going to propel us forward towards the futures that we really want, and in the cycle of self-sabotage once and for all. So where are we right now in this journey? We've realized that those 3 personal conclusions about ourselves, our lives, and other people. And that is the baseline for where we start with everything. But if we want something new for ourselves, that requires us to be different. But how do we be different when all we know is how to be us? That requires change. And so we're constantly stuck in this cycle of wanting change, wanting to be better, wanting to be different, yet our minds and our actions pull us back into that safe and secure that we need. And that's the cycle. And now we've got the tools to break it. So it's like our brains are magnetically drawn to those old patterns and behaviors. A new life requires more of us. Maybe it's you need to be more loving, more vulnerable, more patient. More patient is one that I'm working on. This new you requires us to be uncertain, to be risky, to be unnerving. And we're none of that naturally. So what do? Look at the past, look at your past. And I love the way he phrases this, the carnage of pursuits. Because my life is a long list of pursuits. Broken relationships, failures. Look at all of it. We've got to be in touch with these 3 conclusions about ourselves, because it's what's keeping us stuck, and it's what's keeping us in the past, and what's keeping us on that hamster wheel. We can't escape these conclusions, we can't outrun them, and we can't overcome them. We've got to accept them as part of who we are. They're part of the bad, they're part of the dark, but there's also goodness and light. These conclusions aren't all of us. They're just a part of us. So we don't have to let them define us anymore. And when we acknowledge that we've got these automatic triggers and responses, that is going to free up so much more space in our lives to create the action that propels us forward towards our future, instead of pulling us back into our past. And remember, 95 to 99% of our daily thoughts and actions are controlled by the subconscious. So as adults, we've been living most of our lives on autopilot. What would your life be like if you showed up for it every day? Who could you be if you were really living a life at your true potential that you were an active participant in? In order to make this life a truly great one, we have to overcome ourselves, and not the best version of ourselves. We have to overcome the worst version of ourselves, and that's what those conclusions are. So now we know all the things. What do? He says you stop doing that shit. Real simple. No magic sauce here, people. Stop it. Stop doing it. We know it. We accept it. We embrace it. So stop it. Okay, well, how do we stop? He says we pivot, which makes me think of that episode of Friends that cracks me up. It's one of my all-time favorite episodes. Pivot. Pivot, also think about it as redirecting. Okay, we're going to redirect our thoughts and our actions. So what are we going to redirect them towards? Because we're living in this present moment. We've left the past in the past. We've recognized it. We've worked through it. We've embraced it. We've accepted it. And here's what we do with the past now. You leave it alone. And I love how he phrases this. Don't poke the bear. Put it away. You don't need to fix it. You don't need to repair it. You just need to leave it alone. Okay. So where do we look for guidance then? Because all we've ever looked to is the past. We've anchored our futures to our pasts. So where do we go for guidance? We look towards our futures. This is how we redirect. This is how we pivot our actions and behaviors. Create something new. So how do we do that? You have to have a vision. You have to let your imagination run wild here. Where do you see yourself 2 years from now? In all areas of your life, not just the one that you're most dissatisfied with, because we're moving forward from a place of happy, not unhappy. So where do you want your career to be, or your household finances? What do you want your relationships to look like with your significant other, with your family, with if you have children? What do you want all of those to look like 2 to 5 years from now? Think big, because the future is limitless. We can make it whatever we want. That's the beautiful thing about the future. What inspires you? What kind of future do you want to reveal? You've got to make a choice. You can live in the past, which we've learned is a past that we had really little to no say in, or we can design our actions around this great future that's has limited potential. And then how do we act upon that? How do we redirect? You ask yourself, what is my future telling me to do in this present moment? What is my future telling me to do? That's why we had to dig into all this hard crap. We had to become aware, and we had to become awake to all of it. We had to take responsibility for our lives and for our actions and how we got here. Because there are going to be times where we are magically drawn back to that place of safe and secure, of comfort, of self-sabotage. And as long as we are aware of what those thoughts are, we can interrupt those actions and we can redirect them towards new ones. So think about your future as a beautiful block of marble, and you are going to chip away at it every day to create the ultimate masterpiece that is your future. It's not going to be easy. Chipping marble is hard work. It takes years to construct a statue. This is what we're doing. But every moment, ask yourself, is what I'm doing support my future? And if it's not, redirect your actions, redirect your footsteps. Do something today, in each moment of your day, that's supporting your future. That's what we've got to do. Redirect. interrupt this sick cycle of self-sabotage. The future is here, folks. And it's so close we can reach out and touch it. I've really enjoyed this week. It's been a hard week of really looking internally and learning a lot of emotional things about ourselves, but we did the work. Now it's our time to shine. So let's go out there and be great today. Have a fun day. Have an awesome day. Enjoy.